going broke.
That athletes make so much money, they in a very short period of time, and then they lose it all.
9 years. He got a $17 million contract, and yet he still looked at his bank account one day and saw $150.
That 80% of NFL players who go broke 2 years after retirement.
Those who have made mistakes financially, what is the common thread?
You've probably heard the stories NFL players go broke because they buy cars, jewelry, and live too large. But the issue isn't just bad spending habits.
They know I don't live that extravagant life. Do I like nice things? Yeah, but you're not gonna see me popping bottles in the club.
Because a lot of the players go broke no matter how big the contract is or how smart they are. About half of NFL players have a college degree, the highest among US pro sports. And then everything changes the moment that they enter the NFL draft. A player gets drafted, he's newly minted as a millionaire. And a few years later, some of them are sitting in a courtroom trying to explain where it all went. When I dug into it, I found something strange, a pattern that keeps showing up. So I'm going to explain how NFL players can go broke in the richest sports league in America. Okay, so to understand how NFL players go broke, we have to start with how NFL contracts actually work. Because unlike the NBA or MLB, NFL contracts are mostly not guaranteed. In the NFL official site, it says some of that money is only guaranteed if certain conditions are met. And those conditions depend on skill, injury, and the team's salary cap decisions. That means team can't cut players and owe nothing beyond any signing bonus or guaranteed portion already paid. Now, look at this map. The states in yellow have no state income tax. That sounds great for players in those states until you realize players don't earn their money in one place. Every away game creates a new tax bill, and that is called the jock tax. Now, if you stack that on top of federal taxes, agent fees, and the rest, a player's take-home can come close to 50% or less after fees and taxes. Now, let's look at this example. Take Joey Bosa. His contract with the Chargers was worth 5 years, $135 million, but only $78 million was fully guaranteed the day he signed his contract. That's why NFL contracts are often less secure because only a portion is truly locked in. But all the issue starts when a player is drafted. Since the average NFL career is around 3 years, players are facing a small window that can close very fast to earn generational wealth. So players are told the responsible thing to do: hire professionals. And the NFLPA, which is the players' union, saw the same problem fans saw. Players were getting swindled over and over by experts. So in the early 2000s, NFLPA set up a financial advisor registration program, a way to vet financial advisors and push players towards a list that looks safer than random referrals. But the NFLPA list wasn't safe either. Clint Portis, star running back, put millions of dollars with 2 NFLPA registered advisors, and he got financially wrecked. And the approved status gave him a false sense of security. One advisor steered him into a casino investment, and it later got raided and shut down. Then Clint Portis discovered accounts were open in his name with forged signatures and over $3.1 million withdrawn without his knowledge. And that's why NFLPA approved can be a dangerous list, because players automatically assume that the money is secured by a decent professional.
NFL financial advisor program. That's through the union. And the whole idea about this was, let's help them and say, these are the financial advisors that we approve through our program. The problem is that some of these financial advisors have been the same guys that are part of this fraud. So they say, okay, let's look at the list of people who are approved by the NFLPA, by the players union, and then those guys are using that as an opportunity. Maybe they've never done fraud before, right, but now they're using it as an opportunity to say, hey, we're approved, and now the players are going to there's the affirmation there.
Mark Sanchez financial advisor Ash Narayan siphoned $33 million from him and other clients through a bogus airline investment that the government shut down. Now, here's the part that sounds backwards. Some NFL players are millionaires, and they still run out of cash before the next season begins. And that's because they're paid during the season, not the offseason. And when the cash gets tight, some of them sign loans.
I've seen players actually play their contract, their first year of their contract, spend all their money before the season ends, and then they come back to management and say, can I get some of my money next year?
Yeah.
And that's where the debt problem starts. So during the 2011 NFL lockout, Vince Young needed money to stay afloat. So he borrowed $1.9 million from Pro Player Funding LLC. But later, the lender notified Vince Young that the loan was in default. He claimed that he never saw the loan money because it allegedly went to the people managing his finances. Now, Adrian Peterson's story shows how the trap can start with something reasonable. So in 2016, he took out a $5.2 million loan from Democracy Capital. The money was meant to fund his business and stabilize his obligations. But the deal was harsh from the start. Lender charged Adrian Peterson 15% interest, and in the contract there was a clause that if he defaulted, the interest rate would increase. So he missed his very first payment that was scheduled, which was $200,000 payment. That miss actually triggered interest rate jump from 15% to 23% annually. So by 2019, he still owed $6.6 million on that $5.2 million loan. By 2021, it became an $8.3 million judgment. And by 2024, the debt had grown to $12 million, which is why he had to sell his Texas home.
You know, coming in and having a teammate of mine, I won't name his name, but he brought a guy in that wanted to make a hedge fund, and it was going to be called the Ravens. And he sat in a room. First of all, he got clearance to get in the building, first of all, to sit and talk to a bunch of young, successful athletes. And he wanted to start a hedge fund with $10 million. He was asking us to put into this fund. And we just had one simple question. Can we do a background check to see if you've ever been sued, see if, everything's on the up and up? You know what he said? He's asking us for $10 million. I'm not interested in that. Well, you're not really interested in our money. But those are the type of things, because every once in a while, we'll see or hear from a group of athletes that invested. And I don't have to say it. We all know the stories out there, but it's been some very recent. They invest with individuals that they really don't understand their background.
So in 2009, Sports Illustrated did a research and found that 78% of NFL players go bankrupt or face financial stress within 2 years of retirement. Here's the catch. That 78% number isn't just bankruptcy. It blends formal bankruptcy with other financial stress like unemployment or divorce. But the same year, the NFL did something interesting. Through its Player Care Foundation, it brought in the University of Michigan to do a study and understand the issues that the players were facing after they retired. What it found in this study is that a good amount of the NFL players are struggling, and the pressure hits the younger retirees during the transition out of the league, because a huge number said they've gotten bad financial advice through failed business and investment losses. But in 2016, the National Bureau of Economic Research data contradicts what Sports Illustrated said and also what the University of Michigan study found. It said about 1.9% of NFL players filed for bankruptcy within 2 years of retirement. But by 12 years out, that number jumped from 1.9 to 15.7%. For most regular multimillionaire, bankruptcy is well under 5%. So earning more money or having longer career didn't actually lower the risk, it increased the risk. Let's zoom out for a second. The public story says it is the spending habits, the cars, the chains, the entourages. But we saw they go broke years later when the income is gone and the obligations is still alive. The people around them are often building their lifetime on that paycheck too.